Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Genshin Impact character review series, where we take a look at characters in the Genshin Impact game and review them, and I give my opinions on them. Today's subject is Xiangling. She's a free sort of character you can get by beating the third floor, the whole third floor of the Spiral Abyss, and it's pretty easy actually to do that. So you'll usually get Xiangling like pretty early in your travel through the game. So it's Xiangling. She's a pyro polearm user, so she's the first polearm user we are taking a look at. And yeah, I mean, first impressions, she's an extremely good character, and to be fair, almost all pyro characters are pretty good. So yeah, I mean, let's get right into it, because why not? So starting off with her auto attacks, there's nothing of note here really. She's a polearm user, and basically all polearm users have different auto attack cycles. Xiangling seems to have a lot of like double or more strike attacks, where it's not really just one slash with the polearm. You can see like a double one, and then her like poking attack is also of that type. But yeah, and then at the end she like throws enemies up with the last attack. That's pretty normal. Her charge attack is like this sort of like skewer attack, which is good because it can add a bit of mobility to a character. But yeah, nothing really of note on attacks. They're pretty fine. That's all. So yeah, let's move on to her skill, which is Goba, her little fiery panda thing. This skill is really nice. You tap it to summon. You can't really like target where to summon the bear, the panda, compared to someone like Amber, who can like sort of like position her skill. But still, you just throw Goba down, and then he spits like 4 to 5 fire like breaths. And this skill is really nice. Through her Ascension talent, she also gives Goba a bit of extra range, and that is really helpful because, I mean, Goba doesn't have the best range, but it's still really good. He's also stationary, so you gotta play around Goba when you summon him so that he can hit enemies. But still, it's really good. Good duration to cooldown ratio, so the actual cooldown of the skill is actually really low, like 8 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, like until Goba does his animation and his pyro attacks. The cooldown is almost over, so that's really, really nice actually. But yeah, you gotta play a bit around him because again, he's stationary. But yeah, the only problem that you can like have with Goba is his targeting, because you can't really like choose a target for him to breathe his fire. So you might want to like have Goba breathe fire on a like Mitaturl that has the cryo shield, so that he can break the cryo shield. But then he starts attacking like a normal Healy turn, and you're like, Goba, for the love of God, attack the other guy. But yeah, I mean that's pretty fine. The skill is still good. Goba has a really good AoE, but again, he's just a bit stationary. You can sort of move him if you like run towards him and then push him around, but you're not gonna do that in like a Spiral Abyss like environment. But yeah, I mean that's pretty fine. And then the second Ascension talent is the chili that Goba drops when the duration ends, which increases your attack by like 10%, which isn't that much, but it's actually a nice boost. It's a nice extra to have on the skill, and really like ups the rating, I would say. Really good skill. So then moving on to Xiangling's ultimate, it's the Pyro Tornado or Pyronado. This skill is unbelievably good. It's also a skill that remains on the field when switching characters, so Xiangling is just such an amazing pyro applier and a really amazing elemental support. But yeah, this ult is extremely nice. It's this tornado that starts spinning around your character, lasts for quite a while, and if you are lucky to get constellations, I think at around C4 you get even more duration. So yeah, I mean this ultimate is really, really good. Again, really good at applying pyro, really good at dealing damage. It can be used for both to vaporize for itself to deal some really good pyro damage, and to also apply pyro so that your let's say main hydro DPS or cryo DPS can proc vaporize or melt. So yeah, like this ult is extremely good for early game, for late game, just amazing all around. It's, you know, the circling, like the amount of time it takes for it to like do a full circle is a bit slow, but moving your character around can get you to actually do more procs on it. But still, its speed is fine. You know, it's not that extremely slow. It's very much nice, average, and fine. And yeah, again, it can apply pyro a lot of times, so, and deal damage a lot of times, so it's just really good. It does have an 80 energy cost, but you have a lot of options in the polearm weapons and just in general to get yourself some energy recharge, especially if you have some other pyro user, like let's say Bennett as a healer support. You're easily gonna be able to get that energy back. And Goba, as far as I know, generates quite a lot of particles because he breathes fire 4 times, so he generates particles 4 times back. So again, I don't know, like it's a bit of a downside, that energy cost, but I still think that there are many ways to generate that energy, so I think that it's pretty much fine. So yeah, what roles can Xiangling fulfill then with this kit? Well, I did do a bit of a mention, but she can be anything really. She can easily be a DPS, a main DPS, a main vaporized DPS, not really physical damage. So main vaporized DPS through her ultimate, through Goba. So you get someone like Xingqiu or Mona to apply Hydro, so Xiangling can vaporize. So yeah, like main DPS, sub DPS, and of course again elemental support. She can apply Pyro so much that your like Hydro DPS like Child or some sort of like Cryo DPS, you know, the upcoming Ayaka, even like Ganyu, anybody can really use Xiangling. You can even use her as some sort of like Pyro support for like Xiao. Have the Pyro Tornado or Goba spitting fire while Xiao is ulting so he can just proc swirl like crazy. That's another option. So yeah, like she can fit in many different team comps, and she is very useful. So yeah, really good, very versatile. For artifact sets then to help you use Xiangling, you can go for something like a 2-piece Witch, Crimson Witch, and 2-piece Noblesse if you want that Pyronado damage. And yeah, I mean that's more like a, actually like this sort of set, 2-piece Witch, 2-piece Noblesse can fit in every role. A more pyro focused DPS, sub DPS, and an elemental support that deals a nice good amount of damage. You can go for a 4-piece Noblesse if you want to also buff your other party when you ult. So, you know, if you don't care that much about your pyro damage and you like want that nice pyronado damage and then the buff to your party, 4-piece Noblesse is an option. For more DPS heavy, like main DPS, 4-piece Crimson Witch, of course, the extra reaction damage, and then also the extra pyro damage you'll be getting from the 4-piece set. Like, it's exactly what you need for a pyro DPS that does reactions, and Xiangling can fulfill that role. So yeah, 4-piece Crimson Witch is a very good option for a main DPS and sub DPS Xiangling. There's also the new Inazuma energy set. So there's a new set coming out with Inazuma in about a week, which gives you some energy recharge on its 2-piece set, and then its 4-piece set is that depending on how much energy recharge you have, you increase the burst damage. So perhaps this will become an alternative build to Xiangling, sort of new option, because you'll be getting some energy recharge, so you're gonna be it's gonna be much easier to get that 80 energy cost up, and then you're gonna do some insane damage through the Pyronado. So perhaps this new energy set will become a very good option for Xiangling. 2-piece Crimson Witch and 2-piece of this one, max pyro damage bonus, and then some energy recharge to combat the 80 energy cost of the ultimate. But then I believe that you're mostly focusing on the ult, so it's better to just go for that 4-piece new energy set. So yeah, I mean, again, there are a lot of options, and it's all nice. What can I say? Moving on to weapons then. You most likely... there are a lot of options, alright? So there are a lot of options for Xiangling to use. You can go for the Black Cliff and the and Deathmatch. Deathmatch does have a bit of a low base attack, but still, if you want to balance crit damage, crit rate, Black Cliff and Deathmatch are pretty good on doing their job. You can also use them and then perhaps use an energy recharge Sands of Eon if you want to balance that 80 energy cost, if you don't have someone else to work as a battery for Xiangling. But Black Cliff and Deathmatch are pretty much useful, again, to balance crit damage and crit rate, and they give def, so they give attack, so again, you're balancing out your stats, so that's pretty much fine. There's the Crescent Pike, which you can craft. It gives physical damage, has good base attack, and its effect is okay. You are sort of moving away from that pyro damage Xiangling and more of a physical damage one, which is a way to use Xiangling, but it's not that common. Let's just say that. It's not that common, I think. I have seen some people use it, but again, it's not that common. You can use it, but hey. There's the Dragon's Bane. Dragon's Bane has a really low base attack. It gives elemental mastery, so it helps with Vaporize and Melt. And then its effect increases damage against opponents affected by Hydro and Pyro by 20%. So it fits Xiangling very well. You can even say that Dragon's Bane is sort of her signature weapon. But if you get it, and if you get it at high refinement, I think that's gonna be a really nice and useful weapon for Xiangling, for maybe a sort of sub DPS. Can work as a main DPS as well, using someone like Jingshu to have that against Hydro affected enemies. That's the sort of thing you can do. You have Jingshu apply Hydro, so you're still getting that damage increase, and through the elemental mastery that Dragon's Bane gives, you're gonna do some crazy vaporized damage. But yeah, pretty good. Lithic Spear, an amazing weapon, I have to say. Good base attack, gives attack percent as extra, and then its effect is that depending on the number of characters that are from Liyue that you have, you gain increased attack percent and increased crit rate. That is crazy good. And for the national team, as it's called, which has Xiangling, Xingshu, and I think Chongyun is there as well, Bennett as well. You're gonna get 3 stacks, because Xiangling also counts as a character from Liyue, and Lithic Spear can be really nice. Other weapons though that are very useful: Prototype Star Glitter, a weapon you can craft as well. Better base attack, good base attack, 42 is nice. Gives energy recharge, so that will help you combat the 80 energy cost. And then its effect is whenever you use an elemental skill, your normal and charge attacks deal extra damage. It's nice. It's okay. Again, a bit... The energy recharge, again, helps with the Pyronado cost, but then its effect is more normal at charge attack focus, so it's middle of the road, let's say. It's pretty fine. The Favonius Lance is very widely used. It has really good base attack, 44 is really good, and then it gives a good amount of energy recharge. So good base attack, energy recharge, really good damage on the Pyronado, and then combating the 80 energy cost. And then its effect is whenever you do a crit hit, you generate energy particles. So you're even more combating that energy cost. And I think that usually people do go for the Favonius Lance. Again, the base attack is nice, and with that much energy recharge that it gives you alongside its effect, you can go for an attack sand instead of an energy recharge, and you're gonna be dealing good damage. and you're gonna have that Pyro NATO, not necessarily 100% uptime, but still you're gonna use it a lot. But yeah, for 5-star weapons then, there isn't much. I mean, Staff of Homa is like the best weapon in the whole game, but it doesn't really fit Xiangling, I have to say. It's not the best in slot for Xiangling. Again, in general, Staff of Homa is of course broken as hell, but again, I don't know how much it fits Xiangling. It's good, like compared to a 4-star weapon, it's good. It's extremely good. But if you have other 5 stars, maybe it's a bit of a pass. If you have the Jade Spear, really good base attack, good crit rate, but its effect again isn't really Xiangling focused, I must say. So it's a mixed bag. Again, better than 4 stars, unless you really want to use the Favonius Lance, which is an option to skip over 5-star weapons, I have to say. But still, pretty good. But the one weapon and the best in slot, most likely for Xiangling, is the Skyward Spine. 48 base attack, gives energy recharge, and its effect is pretty good. Its effect is more attack focused, but with the base attack and energy recharge that you get from Skyward Spine, I think it's pretty much the best for every role. Good for main DPS, good for sub DPS, heck, even good for a support Xiangling. So yeah, and that's it for weapons really. There's the new Inazuma weapon that you can craft, the new spear, but it's good. It gives elemental mastery, has good base attack, and its effect is like energy generation focused. So I think it's gonna be a good option. Not as good as Favonius Lance. Again, I think Favonius Lance is really nicely fits Xiangling. But if you're not lucky with a gacha and you don't have any of them, then I think this new spear from Inazuma might be a really good option if you have the billets, the prototype billets, of course. But yeah, there's a lot of choices I think for Xiangling. So depending on what you have and what you can use. Because, if you have other polearm users that need other weapons that could fit Xiangling, well, you gotta balance your weapon choices. So yeah, in conclusion then, Xiangling is an amazing character. Really good Pyro DPS, really good Pyro support, can like fulfill so many roles, and there are many options to help you fulfill that roles, both in artifact sets and both in weapons. And yeah, Xiangling is just extremely good. So yeah, that is it for Xiangling. And next up, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, next up is the best support in the entire game. Elemental support is Xingqiu, the god of Hydro, one would say. So yeah, see you then.